All right, so today we're going to dive into some pretty intense philosophy.
Oh, yeah.
We're talking about Friedrich Nietzsche.
Mm-hmm.
And specifically, we're going to be looking at excerpts from Beyond Good and Evil.
Right.
And this is not like an intro to philosophy kind of thing.
Yeah, no.
This is Nietzsche going deep.
Advanced level.
Yeah, he's challenging a lot of assumptions and like...
Oh, yeah. He wants to like completely overturn
Yeah.
how we think about pretty much everything.
Yeah, he doesn't even like accept those obvious truths
Right.
that a lot of philosophers start with, like those basic building blocks.
And he even uses Descartes.
Okay.
You know, the I think, therefore I am. That seems like pretty straightforward.
Yeah.
But Nietzsche's like, whoa, 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 hold on a second.
So like, I think, therefore I am,
Yeah.
always seemed pretty simple to me.
Right.
Like, I get it.
It's full of assumptions.
Okay. So what's Nietzsche's problem with it?
Well, first of all, like, how do we know that there is an I that exists separately from the thinking?
Okay.
Like, maybe it's the other way around.
Okay.
Maybe the thinking is what creates the I.
So the thinking is like the foundation,
Yeah.
not the self.
Yeah, like maybe we think,
Yeah.
and then from that thinking, the I emerges.
Mm-hmm.
And then further, you know,
Yeah.
how do we know that what we're doing is thinking?
Right.
Like, what if it's feeling or intuition or something
Right.
that we don't even have a word for yet?
It's just that thing
Yeah, exactly.
that we label as thinking.
Yeah, so it's like
Have a
this simple statement, you know,
Yeah.
really opens
A
up
whole can of worms.
a whole can of worms about like, what is the self? How do
Yeah.
we experience the world?
Yeah.
All of that.
And like how we even think about those things.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
he takes it even further.
Yeah.
He says that like every philosophy
Yeah.
is basically an autobiography of the philosopher.
Oh, interesting.
So their experiences, their biases,
Okay.
even their desires
Uh-huh.
shape how they think.
So there's no such thing as like pure objectivity.
Right, exactly.
Everyone's got an angle.
Everyone's coming from somewhere.
Yeah.
He's not saying that's a bad thing,
Okay.
but he just wants us to be aware of it.
Aware of it.
Like that even philosophers
Yeah.
are coming from a certain place.
Right. Like they're products of their time. And
Exactly, their background, their experiences.
Yeah. That makes me think about
Yeah.
all those times I've read philosophy.
Yeah.
And just like,
Taking it as truth.
yeah, like just taking their word for it.
Right.
But maybe I need to be more critical
Yeah, exactly.
and aware of like,
Aware of the philosopher's baggage.
yeah,
In
yeah,
a sense.
their baggage.
Yeah.
Okay. That's a good takeaway, I think.
Yeah, and this awareness is key for understanding Nietzsche's approach
Okay.
to another big concept.
Yeah.
Self.
Right. Because if every philosophy is like an autobiography, where does that leave the idea
Exactly.
of like a stable, unchanging self?
Well, and this is where Nietzsche throws a curveball.
Okay.
He says the idea of a unified self
Yeah.
is an illusion.
Hold on. Are you saying I don't exist?
It's not that we don't exist,
Okay.
but we're not these solid, singular beings that we
Right.
think we are.
Okay.
He sees the self as more of a battleground
Okay.
where all these different drives and instincts and desires
Uh-huh.
are kind of clashing.
Okay. I mean, I can see that.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
we all have those internal conflicts
Right.
where we feel pulled in different directions.
Exactly. Nietzsche's saying that's the normal human experience.
Okay.
And the force behind all of this,
Yeah.
he calls it the will to power.
The will to power. I've heard that before.
Yeah.
But I always kind of associated it with,
With like domination.
yeah, like aggression and
Yeah.
that kind of thing.
It's more complex than that.
Okay.
It's not just about controlling others. It's this drive to grow, to overcome, to exert influence
So like
on the world.
even on our own, like
Yes, even on our own internal world.
inner world. Yeah.
Exactly.
So like creating art,
Yeah.
pursuing knowledge, all those things
Absolutely.
can be seen as an expression of will to power.
Yeah, it's about shaping the world,
Okay.
leaving your mark, expanding your influence.
Okay, so if this will to power is so central to who we are,
Yeah.
what about free will?
Right, that's the big question.
Are we really in control,
Yeah.
or are we just puppets
Are we just these puppets of these drives?
of our
over-
will to power?
And Nietzsche, he wrestles with this
Okay.
throughout his work.
So there's no easy answer.
No, he doesn't give us a simple yes or no.
Okay.
So it's more about recognizing
Okay.
that it's complex.
Yeah.
There's interplay of all these forces.
All these forces, yeah.
that make us who we are.
Yeah, okay.
And that takes us to another core Nietzschean concept,
True.
truth.
Truth, okay.
He had some pretty radical ideas about truth.
Okay, well, I think most of us think of truth as something
Objective.
objective, out there, waiting to be discovered.
It's waiting to be discovered.
But Nietzsche see it that way?
Nope, not at all.
Okay.
He rejects the idea
Of objective truth.
of objective truth.
So, like, scientific facts,
Even those.
all that.
Even those are subject to interpretation.
So everything's relative.
He calls it perspectivism.
Okay.
Which is a bit more nuanced than
Right.
just like anything goes.
Right.
It's the idea that like
Yeah.
all knowledge is based on perspective, like
Yeah.
who we are,
Yeah.
where we come from,
Uh-huh.
the language we use,
Right.
our values, all that.
It all colors how we see things.
It all colors how we see things.
Yeah, like two people can see the same event
Exactly.
and come away with completely different,
Completely different interpretations.
yeah, because of their background.
Because of their backgrounds, their biases.
All of-
Yeah.
Okay, I get it.
And here's where it gets really interesting.
Okay.
He even says that, like, philosophers
Yeah.
who criticize other philosophers for imposing their views
Yeah.
are doing the same thing.
Okay.
They're just better at hiding it.
So there's like a power dynamic,
Yeah,
even in the pursuit of truth.
absolutely.
Uh,
And Nietzsche saw this dynamic everywhere,
okay.
but especially in morality,
Morality. Okay.
and particularly what he calls Christian morality.
Okay, so Nietzsche
Yeah,
really seems to have it out for Christianity.
he does.
What's that about?
Well, remember the will to power we talked about?
Yeah.
He sees Christian morality as a way of suppressing that
Oh.
in humans.
So compassion, selflessness, things like that.
All those things, yeah.
He sees those as weaknesses.
It's not that he sees them as weaknesses,
Okay.
but he questions
Okay.
whether they truly serve the individual.
Uh-huh.
He sees them as values that benefit the weak
Okay.
at the expense of the strong. He calls this herd morality.
Herd morality.
Yeah.
Done.
So it's a system that prioritizes the group
Right.
over the individual.
Over the individual. Okay.
So it kind of encourages conformity
Right.
rather than individual excellence.
Okay, so he's really
Yeah.
flipping things on their head here.
Yeah.
Making us question,
He's making us question,
like, where did these values come from?
where do they come from?
And who do they actually benefit?
Who benefits?
Yeah, that's a good point.
And then to make things even more interesting,
More interesting.
he introduces these two types of morality.
Two types, okay.
He calls them master morality
Okay.
and slave morality.
Master and slave morality.
Yes.
Is he saying some people are born?
No, it's not about like being born a
Right.
master or a slave.
Okay.
It's about different value systems.
Value systems, okay.
So master morality is about strength, nobility, self-affirmation,
Of affirmation, okay.
creating your own values based on what you think is good.
Okay, and then slave morality is
Kind of the opposite.
opposite, okay.
Resentment, humility,
Uh-huh.
focus on the needs of others.
Okay,
He argues that slave morality arose
okay.
as a reaction against the power of the masters.
Interesting.
So it's a way for the weak
Okay.
to kind of gain moral authority
Over the strong.
over the strong. Yeah.
It's like a moral judo.
It is like a moral
Using compassion and selflessness to
gain leverage.
Yeah, I can see that.
And Nietzsche sees Christianity as a prime example of slave morality.
Okay, because it elevates the meek,
It elevates the meek. Yeah.
turns those things into virtues.
Exactly.
Okay, so he's really
Yeah.
turning conventional morality
He's turning it on its head.
on its head, yeah.
Yeah.
It's a different way of looking at it.
Very different way of looking at things.
Okay, and then
And he even challenges the idea of equality.
equality. Wait a second.
Yeah.
Isn't that a good thing?
Well, he saw it as a product
Okay.
of slave morality, like a way to level the playing field
Okay.
and diminish the potential for greatness.
So he's saying inequality is necessary
He's saying that,
for society to thrive.
yeah, he's saying that humans are naturally unequal
Okay.
in their talents and abilities,
Uh-huh.
and trying to force everyone into the same mold
Right.
actually hinders cultural progress.
So some level of hierarchy
Yeah,
is a good thing.
that's what he's saying.
That's a lot to take in.
It's a lot to take in.
I need a minute to process all this.
Yeah.
Nietzsche's making me rethink
He makes you rethink everything.
everything, yeah,
Yeah.
about truth,
Truth, morality,
morality, the self.
the self. Yeah.
It's a lot.
It's a lot. We've covered a lot of ground,
Wait,
but there's still more to explore.
There is, and I'm ready.
Okay.
But maybe we should pause here.
Yeah, let's take a break.
Let these ideas sink in a little bit.
Let it all sink in.
Yeah, before we dive back in.
Sounds good.
All right, so we just spent some time unpacking some of like Nietzsche's most challenging ideas.
Yeah.
Like, it's a lot to process.
It is.
He's making us think about morality and the self and, like, truth in these new ways.
And he really wants us to confront those assumptions.
Yeah, but there's something hopeful about it too, right?
Absolutely.
Like, even though he's, like, deconstructing all this stuff,
Yeah.
there's also this glimmer of something else.
Yeah, he's not just tearing things down.
Right.
He's trying to make space for something new.
Yeah, something better.
And that's where the idea of the free spirit comes in.
Okay, yeah, the free spirit.
Mm-hmm.
We touched on it briefly before.
Right.
But I'm still a little fuzzy on who these people are
Yeah.
and how they fit into Nietzsche's whole vision.
So think of the free spirit as someone who has achieved this level of self-mastery
Okay.
that lets them see beyond all those constraints
Yep.
of conventional thinking.
Like they're not bound by...
They're not bound by traditional morality
Okay.
or like herd mentality. And they've chosen to create their own values.
So they're not just rebels, like
Right, exactly.
rejecting everything for the sake of it.
No, they're not just saying no to everything.
They're actually like building something new.
So we're building something new, something better.
Okay, I like that.
Yeah,
But it sounds incredibly difficult.
it is. It's a challenge.
How do you even begin to break free
Yeah.
from all those ingrained patterns?
From all that conditioning.
Yeah, like what does that even look like in practice?
Well, Nietzsche doesn't give us like a step-by-step guide,
Okay.
which is probably a good thing.
Yeah, because true freedom is about...
True freedom is about finding your own way.
Okay.
But he does offer some clues
Clues? Okay, I'm listening.
about the characteristics of a free spirit.
What should we be, like, aiming for?
Yeah, what should we be aspiring to?
Yeah.
So one of the hallmarks is this relentless curiosity,
Okay.
a deep love of knowledge.
Knowledge and understanding, yeah.
Yeah, remember, for Nietzsche, truth is a matter of perspective.
Right, not some fixed thing.
Not some absolute truth out there. So the free spirit is constantly seeking new perspectives.
Okay, so it's about the seeking.
Yeah.
The exploring, not about finding, like, the answer.
Exactly. It's the process of discovery
A
that
good-
matters.
Like an intellectual adventurer.
Yes, exactly.
Constantly pushing the boundaries.
Pushing the boundaries of knowledge and understanding.
Okay, I can see that.
And that leads to another key trait.
Okay.
Playfulness.
Playfulness, okay.
The free spirit approaches life with a sense of play.
Yeah.
Experimentation,
Okay.
even a little bit of mischief.
Mischief, all right.
Yeah, they're not afraid to challenge conventions.
Yeah, like turn things upside down.
Exactly.
See what happens.
Yeah, see what new insights emerge.
Okay, so there's like a sense of freedom there.
There is a real sense of liberation.
And it makes me think back to like what you were saying about
Yeah.
every philosophy being an autobiography.
Yeah.
Like the free spirit is...
They're writing their own story,
Yes.
not just following someone else's script.
They're not just going along with the program.
Yeah, they're creating their own path.
That's really cool.
And Nietzsche believed these free spirits were essential
Essentially for what?
for cultural advancement.
Yeah.
They're the ones who create new art,
Okay.
new ideas,
Uh-huh.
new ways of being in the world.
So they're like the innovators.
Yeah, they push humanity forward.
But if they're so important,
Yeah,
why aren't there more of them?
that's a great question.
What's stopping people from being like that?
Well, Nietzsche thought that the dominant culture,
Yeah.
with its emphasis on conformity,
Okay.
herd mentality, all of that,
Uh-huh.
actually stifles the development.
Of those exceptional individuals.
Exactly.
So it's not just about individual effort.
Right.
There are these external forces,
Yeah. There are social pressures.
yeah, that make it hard to break free.
It's hard to go against the grain.
Yeah. But if we're all caught in this web
Mm-hmm.
of social conditioning, how can we possibly cultivate these qualities?
That's the challenge Nietzsche presents us with.
Yeah, like, is it even possible?
He doesn't give us easy answers,
Okay.
but he suggests it requires a radical reevaluation of our value, questioning everything,
Questioning everything
pushing against the limits of our thinking.
and the expectations of the world around us.
Exactly.
So it's about cultivating that inner strength,
Yeah.
that will to power,
But directing it inward
inward
towards self-creation,
self-creation, yeah.
becoming the authors of our own lives.
It's a tough path.
It is.
It takes courage
It takes courage, honesty.
and a willingness to embrace the unknown.
Yeah, to embrace the uncertainty.
But it's the only path to true freedom.
That's what Nietzsche believed.
It's definitely a path less traveled.
It is.
But maybe that's where the real adventure is.
Maybe that's where the real growth is.
Yeah, I think we all have glimpses of that free spirit.
I think so too.
Like those moments where we question things.
Yeah, where we long for something more.
And it's about nurturing that spark.
Absolutely.
Letting it grow.
And you know,
Yeah.
Nietzsche's critique of Christian morality
Mm-hmm.
is connected to this idea of the free spirit
Okay, so we talked about how he saw it as...
as a form of slave morality.
Right.
But there's another layer to his critique.
Okay, what else did he have to say?
It's tied to the concept of equality.
Okay, equality, right?
Remember how we were talking about how
Yeah.
he saw the pursuit of equality
Yeah.
as potentially stifling individual greatness?
Yeah, like hindering progress.
Right, because it comes from a place of resentment.
Resentment of the exceptional.
Exactly.
Right.
And he argued that this idea of equality
Yeah.
has permeated Western thought so deeply that even those who reject Christianity are still operating within that framework.
So even like atheists and...
Even atheists?
secular humanists.
Yeah, people who subscribe to different systems.
Different moral systems.
They're still unconsciously influenced by it.
By Christian values.
By those values.
Even if they don't realize it.
Exactly.
That's a pretty radical idea.
It is.
So if he's right,
Yeah.
how do we untangle ourselves
From all of that.
from that way of thinking?
Well, he doesn't offer a simple solution,
Okay.
but he suggests it takes a radical reevaluation
Of our values.
of our values, our beliefs.
It's like peeling back the layers.
Yeah, like peeling back the layers of an onion and asking, where did this come from?
Yeah, like, does this really align with who I am?
Exactly.
Or am I just kind of inheriting this?
We're inheriting it blindly.
Yeah, without even realizing it.
Yeah, and it's here that the figure of the free spirit
Okay.
becomes even more important.
Okay, how so?
Because they embody the spirit of radical questioning,
Okay.
this pursuit of self-creation,
Beyond the constraints.
beyond the constraints of conventional morality.
So the free spirit isn't just about personal liberation.
Yeah.
It's about pushing the boundaries of culture itself
It's about challenging those ingrained assumptions.
that we often just take for granted.
Exactly.
Okay, so Nietzsche's work
Yeah,
is still relevant today
absolutely.
because it's making us ask these bigger questions.
It's making us question everything.
Yeah, and examine our beliefs.
Our beliefs, our values.
And think about creating a world
Yeah,
that allows for individual potential to flourish.
it really flourished.
That's a lot to ponder.
It is.
Honestly, it's kind of overwhelming.
It can be.
It's like he's showing us this whole new landscape.
Yeah,
And it's exciting and terrifying at the same time.
I get that.
But even with all that discomfort,
Yeah,
there's this sense of possibility.
there is.
Like we're not just passive recipients
Yeah.
of these predetermined values.
You have the power to choose.
We have the power to choose,
To create.
to shape our own
To
lives.
shape your own destiny.
That's really powerful.
That's what Nietzsche wants us to see.
He's reminding us that we're not just cogs in a machine.
We're not.
We have agency
You have agency.
and the potential for greatness.
You have that potential.
But it's up to us to cultivate that
It is. It's a challenge.
and become the authors of our own destinies.
Exactly.
That's a great message to end on
Yeah.
as we head into the final part
The final part of our deep dives.
of our deep dive into Nietzsche.
Yeah.
But before we get there,
Mm-hmm.
maybe we should let all this simmer a bit.
Yeah, let it all sink in.
Reflect on what resonates with us.
And get ready for even more insights.
All right. Sounds good. Okay, so we're back. And I got to say,
Yeah.
my mind is still like reeling from all this Nietzsche stuff.
It's a lot, right?
It's intense. Like he's really taken a sledgehammer
Yeah.
to everything I thought I knew
To all those assumptions.
about truth, morality, even the self.
He doesn't hold back, does he?
Not at all. But here's the thing, though.
Yeah.
Even though he's like deconstructing all this stuff,
Mhm.
there's also this sense of possibility.
Oh, absolutely.
It's like he's clearing away the rubble to make space for something.
Right. For something new.
Yeah, something new and like,
Something more authentic.
yeah, more authentic and fulfilling.
That's what makes him so compelling.
Yeah, he's not just tearing stuff down.
Yeah.
He's also like a visionary.
Yeah, he's pointing us toward a new way of being.
Okay, but how do we actually live in that world?
Right.
A world without fixed truths, without like,
At a set moral compass.
yeah, a moral compass. It feels kind of daunting.
It is daunting, no doubt about it.
But, you know,
Yeah.
Nietzsche wouldn't want us to be paralyzed
Right. No, not at all.
by fear or uncertainty.
He'd want to embrace it.
Embrace it how, though? What does
Yeah.
that even look like?
Okay, well, think back to those free spirits.
Yeah.
The ones we were talking about.
Good.
Remember all those qualities they had? Like,
Yeah, like self-mastery,
yeah, intellectual curiosity.
that playfulness, that experimentation.
Exactly. And they're not just abstract ideals. Right.
We're real people who've actually done this.
Okay, so we can look to them for inspiration.
Yes. for guidance on how to cultivate those qualities.
In ourselves.
Yes, within ourselves.
Okay, so it's about becoming more aware of our own values.
Yes.
And examining where they come from.
Asking if they truly serve us.
Or if they're just kind of like echoes.
Echoes of a system.
Yeah, of a system we've inherited.
That we don't fully understand.
Right, but doesn't that lead to chaos?
Okay.
Like if everyone's making their own values?
Yeah, it's a common concern.
Won't society fall apart? I mean, we need some rules, right?
Nietzsche wouldn't necessarily agree.
Really?
He thought that a society of free spirits living by their own values would actually be more vibrant, more creative.
More fulfilling.
More fulfilling for everyone.
So like even if there are differences or even conflicts.
Conflicts, yeah.
They could actually be productive.
Absolutely.
Growth and innovation.
You can be catalysts for change. It's about engaging in dialogue.
Yes.
Respecting different perspectives.
And finding ways to co-create.
Yeah, co-create a world
that honors our differences.
It's not about eliminating conflict.
No.
It's about learning how to, like, navigate it.
Navigate it constructively.
Yeah, use it as fuel.
Exactly.
For something better.
And remember, the will to power.
Yeah.
It's not just about domination. It's also about striving and creating.
So it's about channeling that energy into something meaningful.
Something that helps you grow.
Okay, so it's not about blindly following rules or conforming to expectations.
It's about becoming the author of your own life.
Creating your own values, shaping your own destiny.
That's it. That's the essence of Nietzsche.
It's both exhilarating and terrifying at the same time.
It is. There's no denying that.
Like we have this power to create our own reality.
Shape your world.
That's the part of us that Nietzsche's trying to awaken, I think.
I think so, too.
The part that yearns for something more.
More than just blind obedience.
Yeah, or passive acceptance.
He's calling us to step into our power.
To become artists of our own lives.
Exactly.
Because like he's saying, the world's your canvas. You've got the brush. Now go create something beautiful.
Create something meaningful.
Yeah, something true to who you are.
Beautifully said.
So as we wrap up this deep dive into Nietzsche, I'm left with a lot of questions.
That's good.
But also a sense of excitement.
There's a sense of possibility.
Yeah, like he's opened up a whole new way of seeing things.
A new perspective.
Even if it's a world without easy answers.
It's a journey, not a destination.
That's a great way to put it.
Nietzsche's philosophy is a journey.
A lifelong exploration.
Of self and world.
And it's a journey we all have to take ourselves.
We each have our own path.
Well said. I think we'll leave our listener to ponder all these possibilities.
To explore those ideas.
Who knows what kind of free spirits might emerge from this deep dive.
The world is waiting.